Hello there, David Attenborough here, taking you on a journey to the English countryside in the early 19th century. It was a time when life moved at a slower pace, with horse-drawn carriages instead of cars and grand balls instead of nightclubs. Our story unfolds in the world of Jane Austen's beloved novel, Pride and Prejudice. It's a timeless tale of love, social expectations, and the complexities of human relationships. Imagine a world where a young woman's future depended on securing a good marriage. That's the reality for the Bennet sisters in Austen's world. Join me as we delve into the lives of Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy, two individuals from different social classes who find themselves on a collision course of pride, prejudice, and unexpected love. In the heart of the picturesque English countryside, nestled among rolling hills and quaint villages, lived the Bennet family. The family was headed by the witty but somewhat impractical Mr. Bennet, who often found solace in his library, and his wife, Mrs. Bennet, whose primary concern in life was the marriage prospects of her daughters. They had 5 daughters: Jane, Elizabeth, Mary, Kitty, and Lydia. Each daughter had her own unique personality and charm, making the Bennet household a lively and dynamic place. Jane, the eldest, was the picture of beauty and sweetness. Her gentle nature and kind heart made her beloved by all who knew her. Elizabeth, our protagonist, was intelligent, independent, and known for her sharp wit and keen observation. She often found herself at odds with societal expectations, preferring to speak her mind rather than conform to the norms of the time. Mary, the third daughter, was more serious and studious, often found with her nose in a book or practicing the piano. She aspired to be accomplished and often quoted moralistic texts. Kitty and Lydia, the youngest, were inseparable and shared a love for socializing and frivolity. Their youthful exuberance often led them into mischief, much to their mother's chagrin. The arrival of a wealthy bachelor, Mr. Bingley, and his proud and aloof friend, Mr. Darcy, at the nearby Netherfield estate sends ripples of excitement through the Bennet household. The news of their arrival quickly spread, and Mrs. Bennet's hopes soared. Mrs. Bennet, desperate to see her daughters married well, sets her sights on Mr. Bingley for Jane and encourages their interactions. She envisions a prosperous match that would secure the family's future and elevate their social standing. Elizabeth, however, finds herself increasingly prejudiced against Mr. Darcy. His initial haughty demeanour and apparent disdain for the local society leave a lasting negative impression on her. His arrogant demeanour and social awkwardness rub her the wrong way, leading to a series of misunderstandings and missed opportunities. Elizabeth's sharp tongue and Darcy's pride create a barrier between them, despite the growing attraction they both feel but are reluctant to acknowledge. As the story unfolds, the Bennet family navigates the complexities of love, societal expectations, and personal growth. Each daughter faces her own challenges and triumphs, learning valuable lessons about themselves and the world around them. Through balls, social gatherings, and intimate conversations, the Bennet sisters' lives intertwine with those of Mr. Bingley, Mr. Darcy, and other notable characters, creating a rich tapestry of relationships and emotions. Ultimately, the journey of the Bennet sisters is one of self-discovery, love, and the realization that true happiness often lies in unexpected places. Their story continues to captivate readers and viewers alike, reminding us of the timeless nature of Jane Austen's beloved novel. From their very first encounter at a local ball, sparks fly between Elizabeth and Darcy, but not the romantic kind. The atmosphere is charged with tension, as Elizabeth Bennet, with her sharp wit and independent spirit, meets the aloof and seemingly arrogant Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy. Their initial meeting sets the stage for a complex relationship fraught with misunderstandings and misjudgments. Elizabeth overhears Darcy's dismissive remarks about her and the company, solidifying her initial impression of him as proud and arrogant. Darcy's words, though spoken in a moment of thoughtless candor, strike a deep chord with Elizabeth, who prides herself on her keen observations and quick judgments. This moment becomes a pivotal point in her perception of Darcy, casting a long shadow over their future interactions. Darcy, though clearly intrigued by Elizabeth's wit and intelligence, struggles to express himself in a way that doesn't reinforce her negative perception. His admiration for her grows with each encounter, yet his inability to communicate his feelings effectively only serves to widen the gap between them. Darcy's internal conflict is palpable as he grapples with his burgeoning feelings and the societal expectations that constrain him. His reserved nature and social awkwardness are misinterpreted as pride and disdain, deepening the chasm between them. Elizabeth, with her quick judgment and strong opinions, sees Darcy's reticence as a sign of his superiority complex. She fails to recognize the vulnerability and insecurity that lie beneath his stoic exterior, further entrenching her prejudice against him. Their interactions are a delicate dance of pride and prejudice, with each misunderstanding pushing them further apart. Every conversation is a battleground, where words are weapons and silence is a shield. The tension between them is palpable as they navigate the treacherous waters of social expectations and personal pride. Each encounter leaves them more conflicted, as their true feelings remain hidden beneath layers of misunderstanding. Elizabeth, quick to judge based on appearances, allows her initial prejudice to color her every interaction with Darcy. Her sharp tongue and keen intellect, which she wields with confidence, become tools of her prejudice. She interprets Darcy's every action through the lens of her initial impression, unable to see the complexity of his character. This stubbornness blinds her to the possibility of change and growth, both in herself and in Darcy. Meanwhile, Darcy's pride prevents him from acknowledging Elizabeth's worth beyond her social standing, creating a seemingly insurmountable barrier between them. His rigid adherence to societal norms and his own sense of superiority cloud his judgment, making it difficult for him to see Elizabeth's true value. This pride, coupled with Elizabeth's prejudice, forms a formidable obstacle to their understanding and connection. Yet beneath the surface there is a growing awareness in both of them, a slow realization that their initial judgments may have been flawed. This journey of self-discovery and mutual recognition is at the heart of their story as they learn to look beyond their preconceptions and see each other for who they truly are. Adding fuel to the fire is the charming and charismatic Mr. Wickham, a militia officer who arrives in town and quickly befriends Elizabeth. His arrival is like a breath of fresh air, bringing with it an air of mystery and allure that captivates the local society. Wickham's easy manners and engaging conversation make him an instant favorite among the ladies, and Elizabeth is no exception. Wickham weaves a tale of Darcy's supposed mistreatment of him, painting himself as the victim of Darcy's cruelty and further fueling Elizabeth's dislike for the prideful gentleman. He recounts stories of their past, filled with betrayal and injustice, casting Darcy in the role of the villain. Elizabeth, already predisposed to think ill of Darcy, finds Wickham's account all too believable. His words resonate with her own experiences and observations, solidifying her negative opinion of Darcy. Blinded by Wickham's charm and her own prejudice, Elizabeth readily believes his lies, failing to see through his deceitful facade. She is drawn to Wickham's apparent vulnerability and the ease with which he shares his grievances. His charm and eloquence make it difficult for her to question his sincerity. Elizabeth's judgment is clouded by her emotions, and she becomes an unwitting pawn in Wickham's scheme to tarnish Darcy's reputation. This misunderstanding casts a long shadow over Elizabeth and Darcy's relationship, making any hope of reconciliation seem impossible. The seeds of mistrust and resentment are sown, and they grow with each passing encounter. Elizabeth's interactions with Darcy are tainted by the falsehoods she has been led to believe, and Darcy, unaware of the source of her animosity, is left bewildered and hurt by her coldness. As their paths continue to cross at social gatherings and through mutual acquaintances, the tension between them crackles. The air is thick with unspoken words and unresolved feelings. Each meeting is fraught with awkwardness and misunderstanding as they navigate the complex social landscape of their time. The presence of Wickham at these events only serves to heighten the tension as his influence over Elizabeth remains strong. Each encounter is a battle of wits, with Elizabeth's sharp retorts met by Darcy's veiled attempts to win her favor. Their conversations are a delicate dance of pride and prejudice, with neither willing to concede ground. Elizabeth's quick wit and Darcy's reserved demeanor create a dynamic that is both compelling and frustrating. Their interactions are charged with an intensity that neither can fully understand or control. However, their pride and prejudice continue to blind them to the possibility of a deeper connection, leaving both parties feeling frustrated and misunderstood. They are trapped in a cycle of miscommunication and misjudgment, unable to see past their own biases. The potential for a meaningful relationship is overshadowed by their stubbornness and the lies that have been woven around them. It is a poignant reminder of how easily misunderstandings can derail even the most promising of connections.